Morning, everyone. This is Brian Etner with your Tuesday, July 30th morning wake-up call. A little bit of deja vu in the markets here early this morning as overnight markets are setting back again. Let's go over the good to excellent ratings from yesterday. Corn good to excellent rating was up 1% at 68%. The beans were down 1% at 67%. Looking strictly at good to excellent ratings, which we don't typically want to use those as a solid concrete guide for yield, but if we are looking at good to excellent ratings, there is reason for corn at 68% for some traders to assume that we may see a small yield increase on the August crop report. For beans over there, it's 67%, and still being early in the year, that's a little bit more doubtful. It's hard to tell that just the good to excellent rating alone would assume a bump up in yield on the August crop report. But again, it should be mentioned that for corn, it is possible. We did see another slight improvement to weather maps here this morning. That is the main reason for beans being lower and pulling the corn with it. The weather maps did add more rains to the 6 to 10 day map and quite a few more rains to the 11 to 15 day map. Along with that, the temperatures were reduced again. So basically what we've seen as far as weather is that the most threatening map we saw was 8 days ago on last Monday, where those maps did have some serious heat and dryness on them. And each day following that, we've seen a gradual easing back from that severe of hot and dry weather. So the forecast keeps easing back. In fact, this morning's forecast, some traders may see it as not threatening at all anymore. So that's your number one reason why the corn and beans would be lower. Over in wheat, Sov Econ raised their production estimate another 500,000 metric tons. So they're at 84.7 million metric tons, another small increase. Again, showing all the concern we had about frost in Russia from a few months ago. Looks like it's not turning into that large of an issue, with their local analysts raising yield estimates just about every week here. There is some talk that some of the Russian wheat may have low test weight, but again, that's not typically a traded issue until we talk about Russia exporting it. Switching over to cattle here, box beef higher for a third day in a row yesterday. It was choice up 104, select up 406. So that finally does make our fundamental 3-day bounce in box beef happen as of yesterday. We also have show list this week that's down 7,300. So put those two factors together, and we do have enough to start off with a higher cash assumption. Maybe again, with packer profits only being $5.50, maybe we would assume about a $1 higher or so. But we also should mention that we may have seen signs of fund selling in cattle yesterday. That's a little surprising because for the most part, we haven't mentioned funds in cattle in a year and a half, but it does seem as though funds are liquidating commodities as a whole. There's a long list of commodities that they were sellers or liquidators of last week, and maybe cattle's getting caught into that mix. So you may see a little bit more fund selling in cattle that's not really tied to anything fundamental in the cattle market. Now, funds don't hold a significant long position in cattle, so we would think to liquidate their position there, take 2 weeks, maybe 3. And then if box beef is going higher, you would just resume higher. But it is a factor that we haven't mentioned in a year and a half that we should be discussing right now. So that's what we have here for your Tuesday, July 30th comments. If you have any questions, give me a call direct on anything you've heard here, 815-578-6159, or continue to watch our morning wake-up calls.